The Department of Homeland Security works to prevent terrorist attacks within the United States, reduce America's vulnerability to terrorism, and minimize the damage and recover from attacks that do occur. In the aftermath of 9/11, the United States responded with anti-terrorist measures. A key piece of legislation was enacted within 46 days of the event. Efforts to hunt out and destroy sleeper cells, as well as any other potential terrorists from entering the United States, was also accelerated. These are viewed by many as necessary and efficient. In contrast, others believe that many of the activities violate civil liberties, in particular the Fourth Amendment. The government has aggressively implemented these acts only to provide a sense of security to citizens of this country, but also to any future terrorist activity, and some of these efforts, however, have been met with skepticism. According to Charles Doyle, this act gives federal officials the power to intercept and track communications to protect the U.S. from terrorism. Recently, there has been a rising concern of whether the Patriot Act is diminishing citizens' civil liberties. Some citizens believe that this act violates the Fourth Amendment, which prohibits searches and seizures without a warrant or any support by probable cause. The provisions of this act gives the government the power to raid citizens' privacy and collect evidence for anti-terrorism and foreign intelligence investigations with no suspicion. This act also gives the government a power that allows them to monitor phone calls and emails of Americans without a warrant. On the other hand, some citizens believe that this act has not gone too far, and if they are being protected from terrorism, then any measures should be taken. Within the Patriot Act, there are restrictions placed so that the federal officials cannot track any records unless it is needed for investigation and must be approved by a judge. It also allows the Department of Homeland Security to subpoena anything they want to court when there is suspicion of terrorism. Not just any records can be used. It requires the FBI to get a judge's approval to use evidence in court. Tom Ridge says that the founders of this act are those who exist to protect the citizens' civil liberties and enhance them, not to diminish them. Since this act has been passed, there has been no violation of anyone's civil liberties or abuse of power. One major concern with the Department of Homeland Security is the sleeper cells within the U.S. Sleeper cells are groups of people who are in contact with the Islamic State and who plan on surprise attacking the U.S. on home soil. A major issue with sleeper cells is that they are very hard to detect. Individuals a part of these cells are just everyday people who are living in America, yet are secretly involved with foreign entity of terrorism. Many of the individuals involved with sleeper cells go undetected until there is an attack. The United States is unable to protect and completely cover every inch of the borders, so these individuals make their way here undetected. With the help of the Patriot Act, the government can track any suspicious activity or individuals. The Department of Homeland Security is working alongside with the FBI with tracking investigations of sleeper cells. The department's first goal of protecting citizens from these cells is to disrupt them and destroy the terrorist organizations. They are trying to stop any finances to help these cells thrive and cut off communications between their homeland and the U.S. soil. Another issue the DHS is currently dealing with is immigration into America. In recent years, there has been an increase in immigration, so there are new laws in place to help regulate these numbers. Along with increased security in customs and border control, the government has implemented the bipartisan immigration reform bill. This bill increases personnel funding, complete with 700 miles of pedestrian fencing and the number of full-time U.S. border and custom protection agents. A positive effect from immigration into America is that there has been an increase in supply of labor, which helps benefit our economy. Due to acts of terrorism, the department has had to take extreme measures to help prevent any more threat to the U.S. The department's main purpose is to keep the U.S. citizens safe.